Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin.
Beneath the quiet stretch of your skin, where the outer world ends and the inner begins, there lives a sea of motion you rarely feel, but always need. It flows endlessly, tide after tide, through rivers without banks and lakes without names. Your body is not a solid structure, but a shifting landscape, wet with memory, thick with tides. Every breath you take stirs the current. Every heartbeat is the moon to this internal ocean. Deep beneath your chest, your heart is not just a pump, but a drumbeat echoing in liquid, a soft, steady percussion that sends crimson waves throughout your body. Each wave carries life, and with it, the stories of you oxygen whispered into your cells, glucose tucked under the arm like a gift, hormones like messages in bottles. Your blood, warm and wise, remembers every corner of you. It has touched your toes and your temples, your fingertips and the shadows behind your eyes. These liquid highways are ancient, evolving long before the world ever knew your name. Once, long ago, life began in salt water. And though you've risen and walked and become a creature of the land, the sea still sings inside you. Your plasma, the pale gold liquid that holds your cells, carries the chemistry of oceans past. It still mirrors the mineral balance of ancient tides. It is the water of origin, wearing the shape of you. And your red blood cells smooth, flexible, and tireless are the boats that glide this ocean. They carry oxygen from the breath in your lungs to the hidden tissues waiting in your toes. And they return with carbon dioxide, gently dropping it off at the lungs like a whisper released back into the sky. They travel millions of miles in your lifetime, quietly, faithfully, without asking you for anything in return. These cells are born in the soft hollows of your bones, nurtured in marrow, released like tiny explorers into the current. They live for about 120 days, long enough to circle the earth several times inside you. And then they are taken apart gracefully, and their pieces are reused, their essence recycled into new boats for new journeys. Around them, white blood cells drift like gentle guardians. Some crawl, amoeba-like, squeezing between vessel walls to hunt for strangers, invaders, anything unfamiliar. They're not violent, not unless they must be. Most of the time, they float quietly, keeping watch. They remember past threats, old viruses, foreign whispers, and when those voices return, they are ready. And there is another river, Tua, quieter, one running alongside the louder flow of blood, the lymphatic system. Its channels are thin, translucent, and almost invisible. But they gather extra fluid, clean it, examine it, return it. Lymph is the ocean's echo. It does not rush. It meanders. It carries the soft burdens your blood leaves behind. And where these lymph rivers meet, they form pools called nodes, little harbors of attention, where immune cells pause, communicate, and prepare. Even your organs are islands in this sea. Your liver is a sponge, filtering and refining the chemical content of your blood. Your kidneys are twin waterfalls, pulling waste from the current and turning it into something you can let go of. Your skin is a shoreline where sweat glands and capillaries help cool and balance your inner tides. And just beneath it all, every vessel, every channel, every cell is bathed in interstitial fluida, salty solution that cushions, nourishes, and speaks the language of connection. Nothing in you is separate. All is bathed. All is linked. Sometimes the heart's rhythm falters. Sometimes the vessels narrow. Sometimes the tides slow. And yet, even then, the ocean beneath your skin keeps moving. The body finds new ways. Tiny capillaries branch like coral reefs, adapting, expanding, healing. Your body is an ecosystem of currents, a water world with memory, resilience, and rhythm. Think of a wound, how it bleeds, how it clots, how new vessels form in the ocean. Reroutes. That is your body remembering how to restore the tide. It does not panic. It flows. It finds. It returns. And when you lie down to sleep, your pulse softens. The ocean quiets, but it never stops. The tides within you rock gently beneath your skin, as if cradling you from the inside. In the dark of night, when the world is still, the oceans inside you hum with life. You may not hear them, but they are there, whispering stories of flow and memory, singing lullabies made of water, salt, and time. Let's drift deeper now, into the branching coral-like rivers, where every path carries purpose and every curve remembers your shape. Inside you, vessels stretch out like tree roots drinking sky water from a hidden spring. Arteries pulse with the power of a heartbeat, thick-walled and confident, bearing the fresh breath you've just taken and rushing it to your furthest edges. Veins, wide and quieter, gather the stories of every cell and carry them gently back home. Between these, thousands of capillaries thin as mist, soft as thread whisper at the edges of every tissue. They reach every strand of muscle, every blink of skin, every silent corner where cells wait patiently. Here, the ocean slows. Here, the journey becomes intimacy. Oxygen steps off the blood boat and floats into the cell like a guest entering a warm home. Glucose follows, and inside, in the quiet of mitochondria, the power rooms of your cells, a miracle unfolds. Fire without flame, energy from the ancient sun, stored in the food you eat, now reborn inside you. In these glowing chambers, fuel becomes breath, and breath becomes motion. A single heartbeat might send blood through every part of you in under a minute, touching billions of cells. Yet not one cell receives too much or too little. The ocean listens, it knows, and it remembers the balance. You are, in every way, a being of flow. This circulation doesn't merely carry nutrients, it carries heat. If you run, laugh, or cry, your vessels adjust like reeds in wind, widening or narrowing to share warmth or coolness. They blossom open in your cheeks when you're embarrassed, or squeeze tight in your fingers when you're cold. They know the poetry of your moods. The currents reflect your seasons. When you are still, the blood pools gently in your limbs, like a quiet lagoon. When you rise and stretch, the rivers rush to meet your motion. Even gravity, which tugs on oceans across the earth, also shapes your internal sea. When you stand, the blood in your legs must climb against it. When you lie down, it pools evenly, quietly, like a tide at rest. And the heart, tireless, tender, never sleeping, adjusts its rhythm with every shift. It beats slower when you rest, faster when you move. It listens to the ocean, it moves. And your blood is not just water, is a blend of memory and movement. It carries platelets, the soft stonemasons that patch wounds with care. It carries cholesterol, both helper and hinderer, floating like oil through the sea. It carries carbon dioxide, the soft sigh of every cell, and brings it back to the lungs, where it can float away on your next breath. Even hormones, the messengers of emotion and instructions, sail these seas. Adrenaline rushes like a sudden storm, stirring the tides to prepare you. Oxytocin floats like a love song, softening tension and drawing you close. Cortisol pulses like a watchful tide, keeping time with stress and safety. These messengers touch every cell, changing the shape of your day. And deeper still, the immune system drifts through this ocean, always watching, always remembering. There are cells that hold the memory of every illness you've faced, like ancient sailors who know every shore and shadow. They recognize intruders, remember invaders, and send signals of defense. They do not fear, they prepare. All of this is happening now, even as you sit still, even as you read these words. Blood glides through vessels. White cells pass quietly, looking without eyes. Hormones float, unseen but felt. Platelets hum with readiness. The ocean is never still, but it never crashes. It flows in patterns as old as life itself, and alongside it moves the lympha current without a heartbeat, carried by the simple rhythm of your breath and motion. Every time you stretch, every time you walk, the lymph flows. It moves waste, carries immune cells, watches the dark corners. Its vessels are soft, thin, nearly invisible, yet everywhere. It cleanses you, it watches you, it listens. In places where the blood cannot go, the lymph arrives. And when the body senses infection or imbalance, lymph nodes swell not in fear, but in preparation. Like little camps along the river, they gather warriors and watchers, preparing for what may come. They are signs of alertness, not weakness. Signs that the ocean is alive and aware. Even the brain, sheltered, protected, almost isolated, has its own tides. Recent science has discovered the glymphatic system, a kind of cleansing ocean within your mind, moving mostly at night. As you sleep, waves of cerebrospinal fluid wash over the brain, carrying away the debris of thought, restoring clarity. This nightly tide is one reason why sleep renews us. The brain is bathed, the currents sweep clean, and morning returns with lightness. And so, the ocean beneath your skin is not only survival, it is memory, emotion, healing, and time. It carries the weight of your days and the dreams of your nights. It reflects the moon of your moods and the sunlight of your breath. Every part of you is soaked in this flow. Your eyeballs, round and bright, are floating globes. Your ears are filled with fluids that guide balance. Your joints are lubricated by silken plasma. Your cells are suspended in fluid, as stars are suspended in sky. You are not solid. You are soft water wrapped in gentle skin. And in this water, there is wisdom. Your body has learned how to balance salt and sugar, heat and cold, clotting and bleeding. It knows when to tighten and when to release. It knows when to send help, when to open, when to rest. All of this without you commanding it. It is an orchestra with no conductor, yet it never stops playing. And though you rarely notice, you are always sailing this ocean, always drifting, always arriving. There is a kind of hush that lives deep in your body, beneath the hum of thought and beyond the chatter of sensation a lullaby, played in fluid, in the endless rhythm of your inner tide. If you close your eyes and rest your hand on your chest, you might not hear it, but it is there, the soft whoosh of blood around your ribs, the secret pull of lymph between your muscles, the ocean that sways without wind. And it is not just flowing, it is listening. This sea beneath your skin is not mindless. It watches, remembers, adjusts. When you walk into sunlight, your vessels widen in warmth. When you sleep, they narrow like petals folding into night. When you grieve, your heart beats in sorrow, and your blood moves more slowly, as if mourning with you. When you laugh, the waves ripple quicker, joy skipping across the surface. Your inner ocean responds to your every mood, every memory, every moment. It is your companion in silence, your witness in solitude. In times of illness, it gathers its strength. The immune cells float faster, sending signals, releasing chemicals, calling others to arms. It is a quiet war, but a noble one. And when the danger has passed, the sea calms again. The fevers cool, the swelling fades, the flow returns to peace. You do not tell it what to do, it simply knows. And when you are wounded, when your skin breaks and blood spills, this ocean rises with purpose. Platelets gather first, quick and sticky, sealing the breach. Then the clotting begins, a dance of proteins forming a net, a dam, a gentle patchwork. Beneath it, white cells arrive, cleaning, clearing, protecting. Then the rebuilding begins. New cells knit across the surface. Capillaries sprout like new roots, reconnecting the tide. And the scar that forms is not a flaw, but a poem, the body's way of saying, I healed here, I remembered. Even aging is a process of shifting currents. As the years pass, the blood flows more slowly. The vessels stiffen like old riverbanks. The heart learns to work harder, or sometimes gentler. The kidneys filter a little less efficiently. But still, the ocean flows. Still, it nourishes and listens and adapts. It does not resent age. It moves with it, like rivers carving stone. Your inner tides leave marks, wrinkles, changes, softnesses, but they are signs of time well traveled. And when you touch another person, when you hold a hand or embrace someone dear, your currents connect. The warmth of your palms is blood moving close to the surface. The flush of emotion is the rise of your tide. Even tears, those salty echoes of feeling, are drawn from blood's water. They carry your chemistry, your truth. And so you see, you are not separate from nature. You are a sea creature in disguise. Your heart is a wave maker. Your vessels are rivers. Your lymph is mist. Your breath fuels tides. You are a walking, waking ocean. And when you stand near a river, or feel the crash of waves, or hear rain tapping against glass, it speaks to something deep inside you, because it is you, because your body was shaped by water. Your cells formed in it. Your life was first surrounded by it. In the womb, your heartbeat began to echo in fluid. And now, you carry that echo forward. In meditation, when your breath slows and your awareness deepens, the heart's rhythm softens, and you can almost feel it, this internal sea, rocking you gently from within. You are rocked by your own rhythm, and even when the mind feels still, the body is moving, flowing, renewing. Every second, millions of cells are born and others die. Every second, blood delivers oxygen, removes waste, carries whispers of hormones. It never rests, even in sleep. Especially in sleep, the ocean does its finest work, pairing, cleansing, dreaming in fluid. Some scientists believe that illness, even mental unease, may sometimes begin when the currents are blocked, when the flow is troubled. They study how stress tightens vessels, how trauma leaves echoes in blood chemistry. They search for ways to help the sea move again, to restore the tide. Others wonder if there is wisdom in simply listening, returning to breath, to slowness, to softness. Perhaps the best medicine is remembrance that inside you is not just muscle and bone, but water and rhythm, poetry and pulse. So the next time you feel your heart beating, do not rush past it. Listen. That is the drumbeat of your ocean. That is the music that has played every day of your life, even before you knew it. And the next time you breathe deeply and feel warmth in your chest, remember that warmth is movement. That movement is blood. That blood is water. That water is life, and life is still flowing. You are not a machine. You are a tide. You are not made of parts. You are a whole, moving song, a current wrapped in skin, a vessel of oceans. So sleep. Now, if you wish, let your breath slow. Let your limbs grow heavy. The tide will carry you. The waves will not stop. You are safe within the sea of yourself. You are the ocean, and the ocean remembers. Breathe in. Without trying, without even thinking, air enters your body and becomes part of you. It slips in silently, brushing past lips and nose, warmed and filtered, winding down pathways you've never seen yet use 1,000 times a day. It glides through the trachea, the windpipe, that soft, hollow reed beneath your throat, then forks into 2 bronchi branches, reaching into the dark interior of your chest. These bronchi branch again and again and again, splitting and curling, like roots, like the limbs of an upside-down tree. The deeper they reach, the finer they become, until the tiniest twig's bronchioles end in the most delicate leaves your body has ever grown. These leaves are called alveoli, and there are billions of them. Tiny, air-filled sacs, clustered like dewdrops, glistening and still. And here, in these silent forests, where air meets blood, where breath becomes body, a kind of miracle happens every second. Oxygen floats across a whisper-thin membrane and slips into red blood cells. In return, carbon dioxide used, spent, forgotten drifts out, ready to be exhaled. This exchange is gentle, it is quiet, it is essential, and it is repeated with every breath you take. Your lungs are not just organs. They are forests, they are sponges, they are landscapes inside your chest, folding and expanding like slow-moving wings. When you breathe in, your diaphragm lowers, pulling air into the caverns of your body. When you exhale, it rises, pushing air out again, like a tide retreating from shore. You do this 20,000 times a day, and you almost never notice. But inside you, the forest lives and breathes. Each breath carries the scent of the world, the pollen of summer, the chill of winter, the dampness of rain, the warmth of sunlight. Every breath is a moment of connection, a quiet meeting between your inner world and everything outside it. And though lungs are made of flesh and tissue, they move with grace, like trees in wind. Their structure echoes the shape of forests for a reason. Nature knows how to maximize space, how to multiply surface area without becoming heavy or crowded. Your lungs contain over 1,500 miles of airways. If all the alveoli were spread out, they would cover a tennis court. Yet they fit perfectly within your chest, wrapped in pleura like leaves in dew. When you lie in stillness and take a deep breath, the air moves into this forest with care. It slows, it settles, it lingers, and your heart, tucked close between the lungs, feels this shift. The beat softens, the muscles relax, because breath is not only oxygen, it is rhythm, it is rest, it is renewal. Long before you had language, you had breath. Before you spoke, before you dreamed, before you knew anything at all, you knew how to breathe. Inside the womb, the lungs waited, growing in silence, preparing for that first gasp of air, that gentle roar of beginning. And even now, when you cry, when you laugh, when you sigh, your breath carries emotion. It shapes your voice. It gives your feelings wings. The forest of your lungs listens closely. When you are afraid, it tightens. When you are calm, it opens. And when you sing, it dances. In some traditions, breath is life's spirit. It is called prana, or ki, or ruach. It is sacred. It is the thread that binds soul to body, and in science, to breath, is honored. For it is breath that feeds every cell, every spark of energy, every heartbeat and movement. Without it, nothing remains. Every inhale is a gift, every exhale a release. But breath is more than just air. It is also a filter, a shield. Tiny hairs in your nose trap dust. Mucus in your airways catches microbes. Cilia little brush-like cells wave upward, carrying particles away. Your lungs are not passive. They protect, defend, they cleanse. And when they are overwhelmed, they cough, they wheeze, they cry out, they ask you to listen. Because sometimes the forest is under siege. Smoke, pollution, illness, they cloud the branches, they wither the leaves, and yet still the lungs try. They open, they stretch, they renew, even after illness, even after damage. The lungs seek to regrow, to rebuild, to breathe again. They are resilient, they are tender, they are strong, and within their quiet strength, there is also memory. The lungs remember patterns, how deep you usually breathe, how fast, how shallow. They adjust when you climb, when you swim, when you sleep. They learn the pace of your life and follow it like a shadow. And breath is never just breath. It touches everything. It affects your brain, your heart, your digestion, your mood. Slow breathing calms the nervous system. Rapid breathing excites it. Deep breathing heals. Shallow breathing hurries. With every breath, you are choosing a rhythm. With every exhale, you are letting go. You are always breathing, but sometimes you forget. You let the world become noise. You let the thoughts become storms. Feel your chest rise and fall. Picture the trees unfolding within you, the branches widening, the leaves opening to the sky. You are a forest. You are a breath. You are alive. Let us wander further now, deeper into the forest within, where every breath stirs 1,000 tiny leaves, and each moment of stillness invites a symphony of silence. The lungs, though they seem merely to inflate and deflate, are not passive chambers. They are dynamic, listening structures. They stretch and respond. They adapt not only to your body, but to your life. When you climb a mountain and the air grows thin, your lungs open wider. When you dive beneath water, your lungs hold still, learning to wait, becoming a reservoir of patience. With practice, your body remembers how to use less, how to stretch each breath into time itself. Athletes train their lungs, not just to be stronger, but to be wiser, more coordinated with muscles, more graceful in recovery. And when you rest, truly rest, your breath flows differently. In sleep, your lungs slow their rhythm to match your dreams. The depth and frequency of your breathing changes through the night, keeping pace with the cycles of light and shadow behind your eyes. And in dreams, you breathe as if floating untethered by the pull of day. Breath responds to emotion, too, like leaves rustling at the edge of a feeling. When fear rises, it is your breath that trembles first, a gasp, a pause, a sharp inhale. When sadness visits, your exhale lengthens, sighing out in slow surrender. When joy arrives, your breathing quickens with lightness, riding laughter like wind through branches. Breath is a mirror. It reflects what the heart cannot say. And when we share space with others, family, friends, strangers in a crowd, our breathing subtly aligns. Our lungs listen not just to ourselves, but to those around us. In a room filled with calm, breath slows. In chaos, it tightens. We are forests breathing together. The exchange of air is not only physical, it is energetic, rhythmic, communal. And this forest is not empty. It is a meeting ground. Within every inhale, we draw in the air exhaled by trees. The oxygen we need is born in leaves, in chloroplasts, in the sunlit alchemy of photosynthesis. Trees breathe out what we breathe in, and we, in return, give them carbon dioxide, the breath they need. It is a perfect cycle, a quiet promise. The forest outside you and the forest within you are not separate. They are two halves of the same story. The same sunlight that stirs the leaves also stirs your lungs. The same carbon dances in the lining of your chest. Even your breath, in its invisible path, holds dust and pollen, spores and scent, tiny markers of place and time. When you walk through a meadow, you breathe in its memory. When you stand near the ocean, the salt lingers in your lungs. When you enter a loved one's home, the familiar air becomes part of you, carried within like a soft relic. And your lungs remember these places. They adjust to seasons, to altitude, to history. They are shaped not just by biology, but by experience. Your breath is as unique as your fingerprint, formed by the life you've lived, the lands you've known, the rhythms you've grown used to. And deep in this forest lives another marvel surfactant. This slippery substance, secreted by special cells, coats the alveoli, keeping them open, preventing collapse. Without it, your lungs would stick shut like damp leaves. But with it, they unfold with ease, soft and supple, ready to embrace each breath. Surfactant is made before birth, just in time for that first gasp of life. Its presence marks readiness. Its absence demands help. It is a guardian, a gatekeeper of the forest. In illness, the lungs falter. Asthma tightens the bronchioles. Like wind snapping small branches, pneumonia floods the alveoli, drowning the forest in too much fluid. COPD wears away the trees themselves, leaving open space where growth once thrived. But even in disease, the lungs try. They heal, they remodel. They ask for rest and offer renewal. Sometimes all they need is air fresh, clean, kind. Other times they need movement walks in the woods, deep breathing, gentle stretches. Always, they need your awareness, your presence, your listening. And breath can be an anchor. In moments of worry, breath brings you back. In moments of anger, breath softens the flame. In meditation, breath becomes the bridge between body and mind. Ancient practices knew this. In yoga, each posture is guided by breath. In Tai Chi, breath flows like water through movement. In chanting, singing, praying, the voice is lifted by breath. It is the rhythm beneath all rhythms. And as science explores these practices, it begins to see the same truth, that conscious breathing changes the brain, the body, the immune system. Deep, slow breaths can lower blood pressure, reduce anxiety, improve focus, even soothe pain. Breath is medicine, and it is always with you. You don't need to search for it. You are never without it. It is your quiet ally, your forest companion, your lullaby. And even as you age, as the body bends and the lungs lose some elasticity, they still breathe, they still stretch, they still welcome the world, one breath at a time. They may grow quieter, but never silent. They may grow slower, but never still. And the forest within you, though it may change, remains alive. So take a breath now. Feel it rise, feel it fall. Feel the forest move within you, opening its arms to the sky. Breathe again, this time with the gentle knowledge that each inhale is not just an action, but a return. A return to balance, to presence, to the living forest that thrives within your chest. It is easy to forget, in the motion of days and the chatter of thoughts, that breath is the beginning of all things. And yet, no matter how far you wander from yourself, your lungs are always there, rising and falling like quiet waves, inviting you back. The forest of your lungs is the first place life stirs and the last place it rests. Every creature that breathes, whether finned, feathered, furred, or bare, carries this rhythm. We are all born into breath. It is the shared song of Earth's children. And your lungs, delicate yet enduring, have sung your song from the very beginning. Even now, they stretch with effort and ease, adapting to your needs. When you run, they rush to meet the moment. When you rest, they cradle your stillness. Their walls, thin as morning mist, hold the miracle of exchange oxygen for energy, carbon for release. There is wisdom in this cycle. The breath you take in is a gift. The breath you release is a letting go. You are always receiving, always offering. And what you breathe in carries the world. The scent of rain-soaked soil, the sharp joy of cold air, the warmth of sunlit wood, the comfort of a familiar room. These are not just smells, they are memories, markers, echoes, breath binds, past and present. It gathers the invisible and makes it felt. Within each breath lives the imprint of stars. The oxygen you inhale was born in the hearts of ancient suns, fused in fire, scattered through space, woven into air by the work of leaves. You are, quite literally, breathing stardust, and the carbon you exhale. It becomes soil, food, life again. You are a participant in a cosmic rhythm, a cycle older than time, flowing through trees, oceans, and sky. The forest of your lungs is sacred because it reminds you of this interconnection. You are not separate. You are part of the green breath. They serve the world, and they ask for little in return: air, movement, stillness, awareness, a moment each day to notice. In the hush of dawn, or the hush before sleep, Place a hand over your chest and feel the tide. It moves whether you ask it to or not. It sings whether you listen or not. But when you do listen truly, listen, you can feel something ancient awaken. A calmness, a steadiness, a return. In times of grief, breath becomes your companion, sitting beside your sorrow, slow and unhurried. In times of joy, it dances. In fear, it tightens. In love, it opens. In death, it slips away like mist. But while it stays, it gives all that it has. And as long as you breathe, you are healing, you are learning, you are living. The forest of your lungs is not static. Even in quiet, it is growing, changing. Cells die and renew. Tissues repair. The airways remember how to open. The cilia continue their sweeping. The surfactant maintains its silky cushion. Each part does its work, not for recognition, but because it is the nature of the forest to serve. Sometimes, all it takes is one deep breath to shift everything, to soften panic, to clear the fog of thinking, to remember yourself. That breath becomes a root, grounding you again, or a branch reaching toward the light, or a leaf fluttering in the breeze of peace. There is something holy in that. And for those whose lungs struggle, for those who know illness, pain, or breathlessness, the forest does not fail them. It tries, it sends help, it adapts, it welcomes medicine, oxygen, rest. It may not always be easy, but it always responds with hope. Even when breath is hard to find, the lungs are listening. They are doing their best. And that, too, is something to honor. They have shared your tears. They have sung your laughter. They have carried your sighs. And so, with every breath you take, offer gratitude, not just for the air, but for the forest that receives it, for the soft architecture of life within you, for the miracle that rises and falls with every moment. Breathe in now, just for oxygen, but for memory, for wholeness, for the quiet resilience beneath your ribs. Feel the forest sway. Feel the branches open. You are not separate from the trees. You are not apart from the wind. You are part of the breathing world, and the breathing world is part of you. So sleep now, or rest, or simply be. Let your breath return to its natural rhythm. Let the forest hold you in its green silence. Let your lungs whisper lullabies made of wind and warmth. You are breathing. You are alive. And the forest remembers, somewhere inside your skull, past the folds of bone, and beneath the quiet of skin and scalp, there flickers a field of light. It is not fire, it is not seen, but it dances. Flash in quiet constellations across a soft landscape known as the brain. These are not lights made for eyes. They are the language of thought, the whispers of memory, the secret speech of self. Every moment of your life, every glance, every breath, every dream, every sadness begins here in this quiet storm of electricity. Neurons, long and branching like tangled roots, reach for each other in the dark. Some stretch across long distances, from the base of your spine to the tips of your fingers. Others remain close, nestled deep within folds of gray matter. And when a thought arises, it does not travel alone. It is carried by ions, tiny charged particles flowing like water down a wire. This is electricity, but not like the kind in machines. It is softer, warmer, alive. When you remember a scent, like rain on warm pavement, a network of neurons lights up together. When you hear a melody that once made you weep, another cluster flickers. These are the sparks that remember. They do not live in one place. Memories are scattered across the brain, stored not in containers, but in patterns, in pulses, in the strength of tiny connections called synapses. Every time you recall a memory, you change it slightly. You reinforce it, soften it, thread new emotion through its shape. The brain is not a library, it is a garden. Memories are not books on shelves. They are living roots, growing, changing, dying, and sprouting anew. In time, between each neuron is a gap, infinitesimally small space, where chemicals leap like dancers. These are neurotransmitters: dopamine, serotonin, glutamate. They carry meaning without sentences. They carry sensation, emotion, movement. One might signal joy, another focus. Another still might whisper pain or hunger or awe. When you first learn something new, how to whistle, how to ride a bicycle, or fragile network is born. If you use it again and again, it grows stronger, like a well-worn path through a forest. If ignored, it fades, pruned like overgrown branches. This is called plasticity. The brain is not rigid. It changes with use. It rewires in sleep. It heals when broken. Even after injury, other neurons may take over, building bridges where old roads have crumbled. There is beauty in this resilience. The sparks do not give up, and your thoughts, however fleeting, leave footprints in the dark. Even imagination is electricity. When you picture a loved one's face, your brain reactivates the same neurons used when you actually saw them. The spark does not know the difference. It responds to belief. This is why dreams feel real. The same light flickers, the same pathways glow. Inside dreams, the brain creates entire worlds from memory and emotion. While your body is still, the sparks roam freely. In REM sleep, the brain becomes luminous. The electrical activity is almost as intense as when you are awake. This is the night work, the sorting, the replaying, the reorganizing of thought. It is how the sparks remember. And in your waking life, the electricity does more than think. It moves. Every motion begins as a signal. To lift a finger, to blink, to speak. Each act is born in the brain and travels down through the spinal cord. Another forest of neurons, branching and connecting. Muscles contract, eyes shift, hands reach, all because of a tiny spark that said, now. Even your heartbeat, steady and strong, is partly managed by the brainstem, the oldest part of the brain, nestled low and hidden. It keeps rhythm while you sleep. It listens to your breath. It knows when to rise and when to soften. It does not ask for your attention, but it gives you life. The brain holds layers, like sediment, like memory. The oldest parts manage survival, hunger, fear, breath. The newer parts, like the cortex, rise above with thought, curiosity, decision. And in between lies the limbic system, the seat of emotion, of connection, of memory that feels. The amygdala watches for threat. The hippocampus weaves the past into stories. And all of it, every part, peaks in sparks. It is not a voice you hear. It is not a picture you see. But it is you. You are not made of thoughts. You are made of the space where thoughts begin. You are not the spark itself. You are the field. It lights. And when two people sit close and speak softly, something remarkable happens. Their brains begin to synchronize. Neurons fire in similar patterns. Shared emotion creates shared rhythm. Even silence has resonance. This is called attunement, and it is why empathy feels warm. Losses, your first kiss, the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, the song that played when you felt most alive. And more than that, they remember how to learn, how to grow, how to begin again. The brain is not a machine. It is a sunrise, a storm, a garden of electricity that never truly sleeps. And as you close your eyes and drift toward rest, the sparks continue their dance, gently folding your memories into tomorrow. Let us drift now into the deeper folds of thought. The brain, nestled in darkness, cradled by bones, is the seat of your every sensation, your every decision, your every pause between words. It is the keeper of your preferences, your instincts, your voice, and it shapes itself around your life. Each experience lays a trace, an imprint, a spark. The more you repeat something, a phrase, a skill, a habit, the stronger that network becomes. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This is not just poetry, it is science. Repetition strengthens the bond between cells, like ivy growing thicker along a wall. Networks that grew from moments, relationships, language. And though your body changes over the years, though every cell might be renewed or replaced, the patterns remain. You are your sparks. They are not fixed, but familiar. They carry your earliest memories, blurred and softened by time, but still alive. The way your mother's voice sounded when you were small. The feeling of sunlight on the back of your neck. In childhood, the first time you realized the world could be both beautiful and uncertain. These moments are not stored whole. They are tucked into folds of association, linked by scent, by sound, by emotion. When a smell brings tears, or a song brings a smile, it is because the spark has found its match. A loop is closed, a path is reawakened, and sometimes the brain hides memories to protect you. In trauma, the sparks may scatter, leaving silence in place of pain. The body remembers, even when the mind cannot. Yet healing is possible. Through love, through therapy, through time, the brain can reshape itself, soften old scars, rebuild the bridges once burned by fear. It can become new, even in age, even in struggle. The sparks remember how to reach for light. And every time you learn, your brain changes shape. Learning a new language, for instance, activates new pathways, forging connections between sound and symbol, between memory and meaning. Playing an instrument lights up areas of timing, motion, hearing, anticipation. Mode, network, the part of the brain that buzzes with self-narration and strengthens areas of focus and compassion. Even silence, intentional and full, nourishes the mind. In silence, the sparks do not sleep. They weave, they wander, they rest and reorganize. When you imagine something vividly, your brain lights up as though you're doing it, visualizing. A movement activates the motor cortex. Visualizing safety calms the amygdala. The mind is not limited by what it sees. It is shaped by what it believes. This is why hope is powerful, why fear is heavy, why belief can heal and doubt can close doors. The sparks listen to thought, and the brain speaks back, not with words, but with sensation, with clarity, confusion, warmth, resistance. And this exchange never stops. In conversation, your brain is not just decoding words, is dancing. It anticipates meaning, watches tone, reads micro-expressions. It reflects back. And when you feel deeply understood, your brain responds with a wave of oxytocin, the chemical of bonding. It says, "You are safe here." The spark becomes trust, and trust becomes memory. In sleep, your brain does not rest the way your signals to your brain. When you are touched gently, skin cells activate nerves that translate pressure into meaning. Every signal is a word, every response, a sentence, every cluster of cells, a paragraph. And you're walking, breathing, feeling. Self are the story. In the gut, a remarkable dialogue takes place. Trillions of microbes, bacteria, fungi, archaea in symbiosis with your cells. They speak through metabolites, short-chain fatty acids, even bits of RNA. Some affect mood, others affect immunity. This is the microbiome, and its language is complex. It is not one voice, but a chorus. And your cells listen, they respond, they adapt. Even your brain, the grand conductor, does not speak alone. It listens to the messages sent from the gut, the heart, the skin. Neurons in the heart, yes, actual neurons, send messages upward. The vagus nerve carries this conversation, bidirectional, unceasing. The body is not a puppet pulled by a brain. It is a dialogue between equals, and cells are the speakers. Within the nucleus of each cell lies DNA, the original script, but even DNA is not destiny. It is read and interpreted differently depending on need, on environment, on signal. This is epigenetics, the editing of expression. One cell may silence a gene, another may amplify it. This is choice. This is flexibility. This is language responding to life. And when stress enters the body, be it from fear, illness, or grief, feel it. They speak it. Stress hormones change gene expression, alter immune function, shift the internal weather. But so does joy, so does calm, so does touch, a soothing presence, a moment of laughter, a breath of stillness. These to become language, become message, become change. Your cells are listening. They do not judge, they do not delay, they respond. Every sensation you feel, every emotion you carry, is translated into chemical tone and cellular whisper. And no single cell acts alone. They are always in concert, always in relationship, always telling the story of your becoming. Let's drift deeper now into the hushed and humming places where cells hold counsel, where the quiet pulse of life becomes a fluent song of connection. Though they are unseen, your cells are not isolated. They belong to tissues, to organs, to systems, each one a voice in a larger harmony. When the heart beats, it is not just muscle that contracts. It is thousands of muscle cells firing in perfect unison, like dancers who have trained for years to move as one. They do not guess when to contract, they communicate. At the edge of the heart lies the sinoatrial node, the pacemaker, where specialized cells create electrical rhythms that ripple outward like waves in a pond. Each cell hears this rhythm and follows, sending a unified beat that becomes the sound of life. This rhythm changes when you run, when you weep, when you rest. And it's not just your heart that listens. Lungs adjust their pace to match. Blood vessels widen or narrow. Hormones surge or settle. The body listens inward, and every cell plays its part. Even in your skin, often thought of as only barrier or surface cells, speak with eloquence. When sunlight touches the skin, melanocytes receive the message and begin producing melanin, not in panic, but in protection. When a cut breaks the surface, keratinocytes and fibroblasts call to each other, sending proteins to weave new skin, to restore what was lost. Sensory cells near the surface. Here is a touch that matters. The skin does not merely shield. It feels, it responds, it speaks, and beneath the skin, in blood, the language grows even more complex. Red blood cells carry oxygen, yes, but they also adjust to levels of acidity and pressure, releasing their cargo only when and where it is most needed. They sense, they decide. White blood cells, in turn, speak not only to invaders, but to each other. Some activate, others suppress. Together, they balance defense with calm. When a virus enters, dendritic cells capture fragments and present them to T cells, a kind of immune conversation in molecules and memory. T cells then decide, attack, contain, call for help. B cells may join, crafting antibodies like keys to. They are swift, but they are not careless. The precision is astonishing. And just as conversations can go wrong between people, so too can cellular messages falter. Sometimes, a cell misreads the script, grows when it shouldn't, divides when it should rest. This can lead to illness, to tumors, to confusion within the body. Sometimes the immune system misidentifies self as threat, attacking tissues it was meant to protect. These are errors in communication, misfires in a once harmonious dialogue. Yet, even then, the body tries to restore balance. Regulatory cells intervene, feedback loops engage, signals shift. The language adapts, recalibrates, begins again. And science, too, has learned to listen to this language. We study the genome, yes, but also the transcriptome, the proteome, the metabolome, layers of cellular speech, each with its own syntax and rhythm. CRISPR, a tool of gene editing, allows us to rewrite specific phrases in the cellular script. Stem cells, full of potential, can be guided to become what is needed: blood, skin, heart, neuron. We are learning to whisper into the dialogue, to suggest rather than command. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: healing does not come from domination, but from understanding. The body is not a machine to be fixed, but a network of voices to be heard. Nutrition, movement, sleep, breath, emotion, all of these are ways you speak to your cells. A nourishing meal says, here is what you need. Gentle movement says, we are alive. Deep sleep says, repair now. Breath says, we are safe. And kindness toward others, toward yourself, shifts the chemical tone inside. Oxytocin rises, inflammation lessens, healing begins. Your emotions are not abstract, they are cellular events. Joy is not just a smile, it is a cascade of signals that changes the landscape within you. Sadness is not weakness, it is a shift, a change in tone, a signal that something needs attention. And attention itself is a medicine. Mindfulness has been shown to alter gene expression, to reduce stress markers, to increase resilience. When you pause, breathe, and truly inhabit your body, your cells listen, they soften, they recalibrate, they say, ah, here you are. Even your thoughts carry influence. Chronic stress reshapes communication, alters hormonal rhythms, weakens immune responses. But hope, purpose, and connection, these restore flow. They reopen circuits, they invite harmony. And so the language of your cells is not only one of survival, but of flourishing. They speak in effort and repair, in growth and rest, in quiet joy, in knowing when to hold on and when to let go. This is not metaphor, it is biology. It is poetry written in proteins and lipids, in DNA and breath. And you are the author as well as the audience. You do not control it all, but you are part of the dialogue. You can listen, you can respond, you can offer stillness when the noise grows loud. You can offer nourishment when the signals grow faint. You can become fluent in your own being. And when you do, when you truly learn the language of your cells, you realize you were never alone. You were always a chorus, always a conversation, always alive with meaning. Now rest with the knowing that even in your stillness, your cells continue their gentle conversation, speaking in the hush of chemistry, in the rhythm of renewal. Every second, countless signals pass within you, some loud, some whisper soft, but all filled with purpose. The body you inhabit is not a single voice, but a gathering of many, and within that gathering there is a kind of music, a pulse, a quiet intelligence that adapts, shifts, and flows. As you lie down, as your eyes grow heavy, this inner language continues, cells releasing melatonin, lowering your body temperature, preparing you for the slow descent into sleep. Your breath deepens, your muscles loosen, and inside, messages travel through tissues like lullabies, reminding each part of what it must do. Heal here, rest now. Tomorrow will come, but this is the time for silence. During this sleep, the conversations shift. Neurons consolidate memory. Immune cells clear debris. Hormonal rhythms sway with the cycles of night. Growth hormone rises, prompting repair in bones, skin, and muscle. Deep inside your liver, enzymes go to work, filtering and sorting, organizing the chemical library of your day. The gut, too, sends signals, releasing molecules that soothe inflammation, promote microbial balance, and maintain the delicate web between digestion and emotion. This is not idle time. This is sacred time. And even as dreams drift across your mind, the body listens. The language of your cells never falters. It continues beneath thought, beneath breath, beneath awareness. And when you wake, when light touches your skin and your eyes open to the world again, a new shift begins. Cortisol rises gently, like a slow sunrise in your bloodstream. Cells begin adjusting, curious, ready. The cycle resets. And all of this, every wave of hormone, every electrical pulse, every folded protein, every act of repair or renewal's language. It is meaning expressed through matter. It is you speaking to yourself in the oldest way. This language did not begin with you, but with life itself. Long before humans walked, before hearts beat, before bones were shaped, cells were speaking. Even single-celled organisms communicate. Bacteria send out signals to know if they are alone or surrounded. They change behavior when they are many. This is quorum sensing, a way of measuring presence, of making decisions based on community. Yeast cells to call out when ready to mate. Even slime molds, with no brain at all, make intelligent choices by sending chemical waves through their soft, sprawling forms. Communication is not limited by form. It is the essence of life. And in complex beings like you, the language has evolved into symphonies. Cells in your retina translate photons into perception. Cells in your cochlea turn vibration into sound. Cells in your fingertips convert pressure into texture. Your entire sense of being is built from these translations, from physical signals made into meaning. And all of this allows you to feel, to think, to love, to remember. It is not magic. It is biology made beautiful. And as you go about your dating, walking, laughing, this language continues. When you share a meal, your body releases oxytocin, strengthening bonds. When you move your body, your muscles send molecules to your brain, lifting your mood. When you hug someone, your skin's receptors send a message to your heart. You are safe. You are home. When you cry, your tears carry not just salt, but stress, hormones, a chemical way of saying, I'm overwhelmed, so that the body can respond, slow down, recover. Even loneliness leaves a trail. Inflammatory signals rise, sleep patterns change, immune responses shift. Your cells notice. They are always listening. And when you connect, even briefly, something inside you softens, because your body speaks connection. It was built for it. And the beauty is this: every day you are in conversation with your own biology. With every choice, every breath, you participate. When you nourish your body, you say, I care. When you stretch, you say, I am here. When you rest, you say, you've done enough. When you forgive yourself, your cells exhale. They release. They heal. This is the quiet truth. You are not separate from your body. You are its voice, its witness, its guide. The body is not a machine to push. It is a language to understand. And the more you listen, the clearer the message becomes. In sickness, the body does not betray, pleads. It asks for help, for gentleness, for change. In health, it hums with ease, with rhythm, with clarity. The better you understand this inner language, the more peace you find. Because beneath every ache, every flutter, every shift, there is meaning, there is intelligence. There is the song of cells, ancient and enduring, singing you into each moment. So tonight, or this morning, or whenever you find a pause, place a hand over your chest or your belly. Feel the warmth, the breath, the quiet. Know that beneath your skin, an entire world is speaking softly, tirelessly, lovingly. You are the listener. You are the speaker. You are the song, hidden deep within you, beneath skin and sinew, under muscle and memory. There lies a quiet rhythm, a clock, not made of gears and glass, but of cells and cycles. It does not tick or talk, but it pulses. It whispers through marrow, through calcium, through time. These are the clocks in your bones. And though they do not make sound, they keep the rhythm of your life more faithfully than any watch. Your bones, firm and steady, seem like the most silent part of you. But they are anything but still. Beneath their hardness is a core of softness, a center of color and motion. Bone marrow. Within this marrow, blood is born. Every red blood cell, every white defender, every platelet that patches wounds, begins in this quiet cradle. It is a place of life. And like any life, it follows cycles. These cycles are guided not by sunlight alone, but by internal timing, circadian rhythms etched into your biology like tides etched into shore. Even your bones know when it is day and when it is night. They know when to rest, when to grow, when to release. Osteoblasts, the cells that build bone, and osteoclasts, the cells that dissolve it, work in balance, in alternating rhythm. They break down and rebuild in silent coordination, like waves smoothing stone. This remodeling happens all your life. Your skeleton is not a statue. It is a living, changing structure. And within it, the clocks are always turning. These internal clocks live inside cells, in nearly every tissue. They are made of proteins that rise and fall in timed sequences, turning genes on and off like the dimming of lights. In the brain, in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the master clock sits tuned by light, by sleep, by pattern, but it is not alone. Peripheral clocks tick in the heart, the liver, the lungs and, yes, the bones. Clocks respond to cues from the brain, but also from their environment. When the sun rises, cortisol levels gently increase, nudging cells to awaken, to move, to prepare. When night falls, melatonin rises, calming the system, signaling rest. Your bones respond to these shifts. At night, bone formation subtly increases. During the day, more breakdown occurs. This is not dysfunction, this is balance, a cycle of release and renewal. And more than that, your bones remember the seasons. In winter, when light grows scarce, bones may retain more calcium. In summer, under sunlight, they respond to increased vitamin D by absorbing more. This dance with the sun shapes your strength, shapes your silence, shapes your sleep. Because the clocks in your bones do not only regulate strength, they influence rhythm. Across the entire body, they speak to the immune system. They talk to hormones. They release signals that affect metabolism, inflammation, even mood. In the marrow, immune cells are timed to mature in cycles. Some are more active during the day, others at night. This rhythm protects you. It prepares you. It allows the body to rest without losing its guard. And when your sleep is disrupted, light blurs into darkness. When rest comes too late or not, at all these rhythms begin to stutter. The clocks fall out of sync. Bone density can decrease. Inflammation may rise. Healing slows. This is not punishment. It is a reminder. Your body needs rhythm. Your bones, even in their quiet, need time to follow the pattern they were born to keep. And yet, the body is forgiving. Even after long disruption, the clocks can be reset. A week of regular sleep, of morning light, of gentle meals at steady hours, and the bones begin to listen again. The marrow remembers, the rhythm returns, and the cells continue their patient dance. Bones are also storytellers. They carry the history of your body in their lines and layers. The stress of hard labor, the pause of illness, the mark of growth. Each scar, each repair, each shift in density is a chapter. And though you may never read these stories directly, your cells know them. Your body honors them. The clock within keeps ticking, not just through the now, but through the echoes of then. Even your joints where bone meets bone follow subtle rhythms. Synovial fluid thickens at night, loosens with movement. In the morning, your knees may feel stiff, not because they are weak, but because they are waking. The clocks are warming up, syncing with the rising light. Movement is one of their cues. Stretching, walking, breathing deeply. These help remind your internal systems wherein the cycle you are. And your spine, that central pillar of motion and memory, holds its own quiet rhythm. The discs between vertebrae rehydrate at night as you sleep, regaining height and cushion. You are slightly taller in the morning than at night. Even gravity respects the clock. And in aging, though the rhythm slows, it does not cease. Bones become lighter, perhaps more brittle, but they still respond. they still listen to load, to light, to touch, to time. And with movement, with care, with rest, the rhythm can be sustained. The clocks in your bones are not only about motion, they are about memory, about balance, about knowing when to let go and when to begin again. So place your hand on your chest or your hip and know that beneath skin and muscle there is not silence but rhythm, not stillness but life. Your bones are keeping time, and they have not forgotten you. Let us drift further into the quiet ticking that lives within you, the rhythmic harmony echoing from bone to blood, from marrow to mind. These internal clocks are not mechanical, are biological timekeepers, evolved over millions of years to move with the Earth's rotation, to mark the passage of light and shadow. And in your bones, they remain loyal, even when you forget them. Each cell inside your skeleton pulses with its own rhythm, but together they form a symphony. In the bone marrow, stem cells lie dormant until summoned by need. When signaled by injury, by inflammation, by growth, they awaken and divide, creating new blood cells with timing as delicate as moonlight falling on water. These stem cells follow the circadian code. Their readiness peaks and wanes in a 24-hour cycle. The marrow listens for cues from the rest of your body temperature, hormones, neural signals, and adjusts its work accordingly. It is not random. It is music, and like any symphony, it needs a conductor. The brain offers guidance through the hypothalamus, which receives signals from your eyes about day and night. It sends hormonal cues like melatonin, like cortisol, to keep all tissues in tune. But your bones are not passive in this. They send messages back. Osteocytes, the most abundant bone cells, are embedded within the bone matrix like quiet watchers. They sense pressure, strain, stillness. When you move, when you lift, when you rest, they feel it all. And in response, they send signals outward, telling the body, strengthen here or weaken here. They adjust density based on load. This is how astronauts in space, without the pressure of gravity, begin to lose bone mass. The clocks still tick, but the messages have changed. The language of pressure has grown quiet. And so your movement is more than exercised, it is communication. When you walk, you tell your bones that you are here, that Earth still pulls you gently, that gravity still holds you in its arms, and your bones respond with renewal. They build, they balance, they remember. And these clocks do more than regulate growth. When a bone is broken, the timing of healing follows its own circadian choreography. In the early hours of sleep, when the body is most at rest, repair accelerates. Growth factors are released. Collagen is laid down like scaffolding. Calcium finds its place. And all the while, the cells are counting measuring hours, responding to phases, adjusting their pace. Even your pain follows rhythm. Many notice that aching in joints or limbs is stronger at certain times, perhaps evening, perhaps early morning. This is not imagination. The body's perception of pain, the release of inflammatory mediators, the sensitivity of nerve endings, of it ebbs and flows across the day. And so your experience of being in your body is not fixed. It is cyclical. It is tide-like. Understanding this can bring gentleness, a soft awareness that what feels overwhelming now may pass, that the body is always moving, always changing, always turning with the clock. And your bones are not just structural, they are metabolic. They help regulate blood calcium. They release osteocalcin, a hormone that influences blood sugar, fat metabolism, even cognitive function. When osteoblasts build bone, they also send messages to the pancreas, to the brain, to distant organs. Your skeleton, though still and quiet, is a broadcaster. It is part of your endocrine orchestra. And this too follows time. And in times of stress, the rhythm shifts. Cortisol rises, blood sugar climbs, bone remodeling slows. This is not Is the body prioritizing survival? But when the stress continues too long, when rhythm becomes disorder, the bones begin to suffer. Density drops, healing lags, and so rest is not indulgence, it is necessity. Stillness is not idleness. When you sleep deeply, the clocks in your bones realign. They remember the rhythm, they restore the flow, and even your dreams may assist. REM sleep has been linked with the regulation of inflammatory responses, with cellular repair, with the fine-tuning of biological rhythm. While your mind drifts through symbols and stories, your body is keeping time. And in your dreams, though you may feel light and unbound, your bones are anchoring you. They are silent witnesses to every moment, recording your life, not in memory, but in structure. The curve of your spine remembers how often you looked down in thought. The thickness of your femur recalls the weight you carried. The shape of your jaw holds the tension of worry, or the softness of laughter. These are not flaws, they are calligraphy. They are the poetry of pressure. And when you hold still, when you lie in the hush of night or sit quietly beside a window, you may feel the deep rhythm return, the slow pulsing of life beneath your skin, the warm gravity of blood moving through marrow, the ache that comes not from pain but from presence. This is your body remembering time. This is your body speaking rhythm. The clocks in your bones are not alone. They speak to the heart, which adjusts its rate. They speak to the lungs, which match breath to need. They speak to the liver, which releases glucose in rhythm with energy demand. You are a constellation of cycles nested one within the other. And the more you listen, the more you align. So rise with the sun when you can, rest when night falls. Eat gently, move often, pause often. Your bones are listening, your clocks are turning, and even in stillness, you are always dancing with time. There is a soft beauty in knowing that even when you feel unmoored, something within you is still, keeping time. Your bones buried deep beneath layers of tissue and memory continue to move to the rhythm they have always known. They are not fast, not loud, not hurried. They are steady. They are patient. They are the timekeepers of your body. And they have been marking each moment from your very beginning. When you were just an embryo, before your fingers were fully formed, the pattern of your skeleton began to take shape, and not just in structure, but in tempo. As you grew, your bones lengthened with a pulse knot, a rush, not a sprint, but a cadence set by signals passed cell to cell, governed by ancient rhythms built into your DNA. These clocks did not begin with you. They were inherited from generations of bodies that rose with the sun and slept beneath stars, bodies that walked, ran, healed, and dreamed according to the same patterns. And even now, in your own modern life of shifting screens and artificial light, these clocks remain faithful. They do not resent you when you stray from them. They simply wait. And the moment you return rising with the morning, feeding yourself with care, Resting without guilt, they begin to harmonize again. The bones, remember, they always do. Even in times of illness or injury, the rhythm continues. A fractured arm does not panic, begins first. A clot forms, then a soft callus, then new bone, woven like a tapestry of calcium and collagen. This repair follows a schedule, one not printed on paper, but encoded in cell behavior, in the tempo of gene expression, in the timing of growth factors, released only when they are most needed. It is information, it is the body saying, pay attention here. Something has shifted. And beneath the discomfort, healing proceeds in cycles. Your bones do not rush, they build, they listen, they wait. And when you sleep, your body leans fully into rhythm. It is during the darkest hours of night that growth hormone peaks, prompting bone cells to regenerate. Melatonin moves through your bloodstream, not just soothing your thoughts, but helping regulate calcium in bone. In your deepest sleep, the skeleton renews itself quietly, without your awareness. And when you wake, it carries that renewal forward into the day. Even dreams are woven into this process. Though they feel ethereal, they are grounded in the very biology of repair. As your muscles rest and your breathing slows, the bones are busy tending to their quiet work, remodeling, releasing, remembering. You may not feel it happening, but it is, and it matters. In childhood, the clocks in your bones tick more quickly. They guide growth spurts, orchestrate rapid change. In adulthood, they find equilibrium, replacing worn tissue, maintaining strength. And in age, they slow, becoming gentler, less firm, but still full of wisdom. Even in their fragility, older bones hold grace. They are the record keepers of a life lived. They may be thinner, more brittle, but they are no less important. They continue to respond to movement, to nourishment, to rhythm. They ask not to be forgotten, but to be honored. You can care for them in simple ways. Walk in the morning light, feed them minerals through wholesome food. Let your breath deepen. Let your sleep come easily. When you do these things, the clocks in your bones align. They sing again, they heal, and they remember. Your bones do not rush your becoming. They offer you time to rest, to grow, to return. They are always keeping watch. They do not demand. They simply hold you in stillness, in motion, in sleep. They cradle your breath and anchor your dreams. You do not need to understand every signal to trust it. You only need to listen, to pause, to honor the wisdom that lives in your very structure. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are moving in rhythm, even when you feel lost. The clocks in your bones still turn. They still beat, and they are always on your side. So as you close your eyes tonight, or as you stretch into your morning, take a moment to feel the weight of your body. That is not heaviness, it is presence. That is your skeleton, quiet and true, carrying you through every season. Let it remind you, you are made of time. You are held by rhythm. You are the echo of ancient cycles, still dancing in the shape of you. The clocks in your bones remember, and they will never forget. Beneath your skin, behind your smile, inside your gut, and along every surface of your body, there lives a hidden world, a vast and teeming universe of life, quiet but constant. These are the creatures that call you home. They are part of you, as vital as your lungs, as present as your breath. They do not speak in words, but in chemicals, in enzymes, in electric exchanges. And without them, you could not live. Your body, though it feels singular, is a symphony of organisms. Trillions of microbes, bacteria, viruses, fungi, inhabit you from the moment you are born. They arrive as you pass through your mother's birth canal, clinging to your skin, entering your mouth, your nose, your eyes, and they stay, they grow, they flourish. They form colonies in your intestines, your sinuses, your scalp. Some live in the folds of your elbows, others in the moist corners of your eyes. Some dwell deep in the colon, others skim the surface of your skin like invisible moss. They do not ask permission, they simply belong. And though they are small, their impact is enormous. Your gut alone holds more microbial cells than all the stars you will ever see. They outnumber your own cells. They weigh nearly as much as your brain. And together, they form the microbiome, living, breathing organ of its own. This microbiome is not chaos, it is ecology. Each species has a role. Some help digest fiber, turning it into short-chain fatty acids that nourish your colon and reduce inflammation. Others produce vitamins, like K, like B12, that your own body cannot make. Still others form a protective barrier, crowding out harmful bacteria, competing for space and resources, keeping the peace. It is a system of balance, of quiet collaboration, and when this balance holds, you feel it's in digestion, in mood, in immunity, in sleep. But when the balance tips through stress, poor diet, antibiotics, the entire system can tremble. The body may respond with bloating, with brain fog, with fatigue, with illness. This is not failure, it is feedback. It is the creatures of your inner world trying to speak, and they have always spoken. Long before you could form memory, your microbes were shaping your life. They trained your immune system, teaching it to recognize threat from friend. They helped you digest milk. They influenced which foods you craved, which medicines worked, which moods lingered. Even your brain shielded behind the blood-brain barriers in conversation with your gut. The vagus nerve carries these signals, like a telephone wire strung between organs. Some scientists now call the gut the second brain, and not without reason. It contains its own nervous system, the enteric nervous system, with over 100 million neurons, and it listens, responds, remembers. It sends messages upward. I am full, I am safe, I am inflamed, and the brain replies. Together, they form the gut-brain axis, a constant two-way conversation shaped by microbes. These tiny creatures influence the release of serotonin, dopamine, GABA neurotransmitters that shape emotion and thought. Nearly 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut, and when your gut is calm, your mind often is too. This is not metaphor, it is biology, it is cohabitation, and it is not only bacteria that live within you. There are viruses that infect bacterial populations in check. There are fungi that help maintain skin health, balance moisture, prevent overgrowth. There are archaea-ancient microorganisms that help with digestion, especially in the large intestine. All of these organisms live together, forming a vast, interdependent community, and they are not random. Your microbiome is shaped by birth. Even the air you breathe changes your microbial makeup. Your skin's microbiome is different on your forehead than on your feet. Your mouth is different from your nose, your colon from your stomach. Each environment is distinct, like separate villages within a single nation, and they are all talking. Every meal you eat sends signals through this ecosystem. Fiber-rich foods, fruits, vegetables, grains feed the good bacteria, helping them thrive. Processed foods, high in sugar or fat, can shift the balance, allowing less beneficial species to bloom. Antibiotics, while powerful and life-saving, also wipe out whole neighborhoods of microbes, good and bad alike. The body notices, it adapts, but it remembers, and slowly, over time, it rebuilds. Probiotics living beneficial microbes can help, but so can rest, movement, nature. Even walking barefoot on earth or petting an animal introduces new microbes into your system. You are not a closed system, you are porous. And that is not weakness, it is wonder. The creatures that call you home are not passengers, they are partners. They do not live on youth, they live with you, and they are listening. Always, to what you eat, how you sleep, whether you laugh, whether you are lonely. They feel your joy, they feel your fear. They shift with your emotions, responding in chemicals, in signals, in slow, invisible waves. And when you listen back, when you care for your inner ecology, you come into harmony with yourself. Not perfectly, not all at once, but enough to feel the difference. Enough to remember that you are not just one, you are many. You are a world within a world, a home to tiny lives that have made you their universe. Let us wander deeper now into the silent ecosystems within you, where each breath, each bite, each heartbeat becomes a ripple across millions of lives that live alongside yours. These creatures, too small to see, yet too vast to count, shape your health in quiet, daily ways. You do not manage them consciously, but they manage you gently, persistently, without pause. Inside your mouth, the first gate to your inner world, thousands of species coexist. Some line your cheeks, some gather on your tongue, some hide between teeth, forming tiny cities in the spaces you rarely feel. They begin digesting food before it reaches your stomach. They defend against invaders. They even communicate with cells in your immune system, preparing them for what might come. When your mouth is dry or your gums are inflamed, it is not just discomfort, it is a message. Your microbes are shifting, asking for balance, for care. Down in your stomach, the landscape changes. The acidic environment here is harsh, strong, enough to break down bone, fierce enough to sterilize. And yet, some microbes thrive. Helicobacter pylori, for instance, has evolved to swim through mucus, to live where few others can. It can cause ulcers in imbalance, but it also seems to regulate stomach hormones in balance. This duality is a reminder microbes are not enemies or allies. They are both, depending on place, context, quantity. They are like rain, life-giving in one season, overwhelming in another. And as food moves into the small intestine, the most delicate exchange begins. Here, digestion becomes absorption. Nutrients pass through the gut wall into blood, carried to muscles, brain, skin. But first, microbes help. They break down fiber, ferment resistant starches, release byproducts that your cells crave. Short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, nourish colon cells. Other compounds reduce inflammation, help regulate insulin, even protect against cancer. This is not just digestion, it is diplomacy, a partnership refined over eons. The gut lining itself is thin, just a single layer of cells, and on the other side, the immune system waits, alert, but calm, trained by years of microbial conversation. In a healthy body, the immune cells tolerate friendly microbes while standing guard against pathogens. But when this balance breaks, when inflammation rises or microbes are lost, the gut can become porous. Toxins may slip through. The immune system flares. This state, sometimes called leaky gut, is still being studied, but the message is clear. The barrier between you and your microbes is delicate. It must be respected. It must be nourished. And the creatures that live in your gut know how to help. They produce mucus. They regulate pH. They even compete with harmful bacteria, preventing them from gaining ground. They are your allies, but they are also independent. They respond to what you feed them. Feed them fiber, and they flourish. Feed them sugar, and some shift into imbalance. They are always adjusting, always evolving. Even stress changes them. When you are anxious or afraid, your brain signals the gut. It changes motility. It alters secretion. The microbes feel it. Some decrease in number. Others rise. They too respond to your emotions. And in turn, they influence your state of mind. Some microbes increase the production of calming chemicals. Others boost inflammation. This bidirectional loop is ongoing, minute to minute. The creatures that call you home are part of your emotional world. In times of grief, their diversity may shrink. In times of connection, it may expand. And this connection is not isolated to humans. Mice raised without microbes behave differently, more anxious, less social. When transplanted with the microbiome of calm mice, they become calmer. The microbes carry behavior, they carry tone, they carry peace. And when scientists studied people with depression, they found differences in microbial makeup, less diversity, less abundance of certain helpful strains. The brain and the gut, once thought separate, are now understood as partners, and their shared language is partly microbial. Even memory may be influenced. Studies suggest that certain gut bacteria affect brain plasticity, the ability to learn, to adapt, to grow. This is not science fiction. It is science unfolding. You are not just shaped by thoughts, but by ecosystems. And these ecosystems are not static. They respond to seasons, to places, to people. Travel changes your microbiome. New foods introduce new species. Even relationships, shifted partners who live together begin to share microbes. Families, homes, communities, each has its own microbial fingerprint. You are not a single being. You are an environment, and this environment changes with your choices. Antibiotics, though miraculous, are like wildfires. They burn broadly, clearing both bad and good. Recovery takes time. Probiotics and prebiotics can help, but so can time, soil, fermented foods, touch, laughter. Joy feeds microbes, too. And rest, deep sleep, walking in nature. All of these shape your internal garden. Your body is not sterile, and that is not a flaw. It is life. Every inch of you, your scalp, your armpits, your belly button offers a niche. And each niche has its keepers. Your skin's microbes protect against invaders, help maintain moisture, even train immune cells nearby. In illness, they may falter. In balance, they are invisible armor. And when you care for your skin gently, without harshness, you care for them. The creatures that call you home are not strangers. They are family. And they have always been here. And now, as the day fades or the night begins, let us pause with reverence for the quiet multitudes that live their lives inside you, faithful, unseen, and constant. These creatures that call you home are more than passengers in your body. They are your oldest companions. They have walked with you through every season of your life, shaping the way your food nourishes you, the way your body defends itself, and even the way your mind sees the world. They are not the result of technology or inventions. They are nature's design, seeded into your body through birth, touch, breath, and time. And in their presence, you are never alone. When you were an infant, your first cries were not only a beginning, they were an invitation. Microbes passed from mother to child, from air to skin, from milk to mouth. Breastfeeding, rich not only in nutrients, but in prebiotics, helped nurture the young colonies taking root inside you. These early residents helped guide your immune system, trained your cells to recognize danger, and gently shaped your first defenses. They were your invisible guardians. And as you grew crawling on floors, putting everything in your mouth, playing in the soil, touching fur, hugging others, your microbial world expanded. Each encounter left a trace. Each moment built diversity. The more microbes you met, the more complex and resilient your ecosystem became. It was not always clean, but it was deeply alive. And it still is. Even now, with each passing day, your microbiome changes. It shifts with the foods you eat, with the thoughts you carry, with the rest you allow. It reflects your choices and your seasons. In winter, certain microbes bloom. In summer, others rise. Illness may disrupt the balance, but healing restores it. Travel may challenge it, but home always welcomes it back. This resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, is the true strength of your inner life, and your microbes remember. After antibiotics, after stress, after fasting or feasting, the ecosystem reforms. The beneficial strains often return, finding their way home. They do not need a map. They need space, light, kindness, time, and you can offer these things, not with force, but with care, with warm food, rich in fiber and color, with fermented offerings, yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi that carry living cultures, with time in nature where the air itself carries invisible guests, with laughter which changes your chemistry, softens your nerves, and calms your gut, with stillness, with breath, with the courage to slow down. Your microbes are listening. They respond to gentleness as much as to medicine. They are tuned to your rhythms, your hormones, your habits. They flourish in balance, not perfection. They prefer patterns, not extremes. Even small changes, Matara, short walk in the sun, a single deep breath before eating, a mindful pause before sleep, these create shifts, these create space, and the body notices, because the creatures inside you are not simply tenants, they are collaborators. They teach your immune cells tolerance, preventing unnecessary alarm. They stimulate mucus production, protecting delicate linings. They help extract the last bits of nourishment from your meals. They regulate hormones like leptin and ghrelin, shaping hunger and satiety. They produce neurotransmitters that echo in your mind, and even in death, they remain. When your body no longer breathes, the microbes continue breaking down tissue, returning you to the earth, completing the cycle they began the day you were born. It is not grim, it is sacred. You are not separate from nature. You are part of its loop. You are soil and air and water, carried in the vessel of skin, and within that vessel, trillions of lives continue building, transforming, remembering. They have no name, but they know you. They have no voice, but they speak. And if you listen, truly listen, you may feel their presence in your calmest moments, in a satisfied belly, in a quieted mind, in the way your body moves when it feels like home. You are not empty. You are never just one. You are a host, a habitat, a universe. And when you care for this living world within you, you don't just promote health, you honor life itself. So tonight, as you curl beneath a blanket, or tomorrow, as you greet the light of a new day, remember the ones within you. They do not ask for praise. They ask for peace, for rhythm, for rest. Offer it freely, walk gently, eat slowly, sleep deeply, and let the world inside you bloom. The creatures that call you home are not separate from who you are. They are part of your story, and they are still listening. There is a quiet glow within you, not the fiery burn of the sun, nor the harsh flash of electricity, but a soft shimmer, steady, ancient, alive. This is the light that lives in you. It is not metaphor, it is real, though too gentle for the eye. It glows in the darkest places within your cells, between your breaths, behind the silence of your thoughts. Scientists call it biophoton emission, an ultra-weak light given off by all living things. It cannot illuminate a room, but it is there, flickering like the faintest stars across the vastness of your inner sky. Every cell in your body, each tiny world of function and memory, emits this light. It arises not from flame, but from life itself, from the quiet chemistry of being. In your mitochondria, where food and oxygen are turned into energy, small bursts of photons are released. These are not waste. They are whispers. They are part of a deeper language, perhaps even a way cells speak beyond molecules and messages. The light that lives in you pulses with intention. It seems to follow rhythm, pattern, intelligence, and it is not random. It shines most brightly in the hands, the forehead, the chest, places long considered sacred across cultures. Ancient traditions spoke of a glow within, of energy centers, of life force. Perhaps they sensed what science now begins to measure, that we are not only made of matter, but of light. The photons that shimmer from your cells come from the food you eat, the breath you take, the memories your body carries. When you eat plants that grew in sunlight, you take in their stored radiance. The sugars formed by photosynthesis, the chlorophyll, shaped by the sun, become your fuel. And as your cells use this fuel, a quiet light is released. The sun becomes you, and you, in turn, become luminous. Even in the deepest dark, you glow. This glow is not seen, but it can be felt. When you feel vibrant, aligned, whole, something in you hums brighter. When you are stressed, sick, or weary, that glow dims, not gone, just quieted. This is not mysticism. It is life. It is physics wrapped in flesh. Your DNA, that spiral of information nestled in every cell, also responds to light. It can emit it. It can absorb it. Some scientists believe that light may help organize the timing of cellular processes, guiding when a cell divides, when it rests, when it repairs. Light as communication, light as rhythm, light as memory. And this light fluctuates with your state of being. In studies, People in meditative or relaxed states emit slightly more coherent biophoton light. In stress, the pattern grows erratic. This suggests that calm does not just soothe the mind, it harmonizes the body's glow. You are, quite literally, shining differently when you feel peace. And this light is not only inside you, it travels. It radiates just beyond the surface of your skin. It extends like a soft aura, an invisible mist, when you touch another person. When you stand close in silence, when you hold someone with love, your light meets theirs. Photons may pass between you two, faint to see, but not too faint to matter. Connection has a glow, and animals sense it. Plants to respond to biophotons, seeds exposed to this faint light sprout differently. Roots grow toward it. Perhaps life itself listens to light. Perhaps your cells are always watching for it. Within your brain, neurons fire with electrical pulses that may also generate photons. Some theorize that these flashes help integrate information, help coordinate consciousness. It is not proven, but it is being explored. What if thought itself carried light? What if the act of remembering a name, a face, a feeling was accompanied by a flicker, a soft shimmer in the dark that only your body could read? You are not aware of this glow, but it is part of your being. It flows with your breath, rises with your heartbeat, quiets with your sleep, and in sleep, perhaps, you shine most gently. During the deepest hours of night, your body repairs, rebuilds, restores. Mitochondria turn food into energy more efficiently. Cells communicate across the quiet. Light is released in calm waves. Your dreams drift through this glow, carried like paper boats across still water. And when you wake slowly, softly, your body carries that light forward into the day. It helps you feel alert. It helps you heal. It helps you live. You are a creature of earth, yes, but also of stars. The atoms in your body were forged in suns long ago, scattered across galaxies before finding their way to this moment. Carbon, calcium, iron, phosphorus, all born in light, now part of your breath. You carry not just the memory of starlight, but its actual dust, and in your cells, that memory flickers on. This light cannot be captured or held. It cannot be seen by most, but it is there, humming beneath the noise of life, waiting in stillness, present in presence. And when you sit quietly, when you breathe and let your thoughts soften, you may feel it not as brightness, but as warmth, as ease, as a knowing. You are not just made of light. You are light, living. The glow is not decoration. It is you. Let us now drift further into the tender, glowing architecture of your being, where the light inside you is not only alive, but intelligent, where each photon, though faint, may carry instructions, may hold meaning, may gently guide the shape of your existence. Though you may not feel it directly, your cells are constantly speaking in this language of light. Biophotons, these tiny packets of electromagnetic energy, are released in cellular processes, not out of randomness, but out of rhythm. They seem to flicker with purpose, pulsing in patterns that resemble waves, not static bursts. And in these waves, some researchers believe there may be a deeper system, a way for cells to organize themselves across distance, to harmonize across tissues. Imagine your body not only as a network of chemical reactions and nerve impulses, but as a softly lit city where light is used to signal, to align, to remember. In your bones, in your skin, in the spiraled strands of your DNA, this light is both messenger and mirror. Mitochondria, your cell's energy centers, are one of the main sources of this glow, as they transform oxygen and nutrients into usable power. A small portion of energy is released as light. The quality of that light may reflect the health of the cell, its efficiency, its stress, its vitality. In times of calm and nourishment, the emission is more coherent, more organized. In times of illness or imbalance, it grows disordered. Your glow listens to your life. When you eat, the light shifts. Foods rich in antioxidants, fruits, vegetables, spices can reduce oxidative stress, which lowers chaotic photon bursts and restores luminous harmony. When you fast gently, allowing your body time to rest and repair, your cells become more efficient and the light grows clearer. When you move your body with grace, not to punish, but to flow, you oxygenate tissues, awaken mitochondria, and brighten the inner flame. Even the act of gratitude, quiet moment of heartfelt appreciation, may reduce inflammation, balance hormones, and shift the chemistry of your inner light. This is not spiritual metaphor. It is measurable energy, woven through your biology. Your skin, your largest organ, also plays a role. It not only protects and senses, it reflects. Studies have shown that the human face emits more light than the rest of the body, especially around the cheeks, forehead, and nose, and the rhythm of this light is not constant. It ebbs and flows across the day, following your circadian rhythm, echoing the arc of sunlight itself. In the morning, your body responds to the sun by adjusting hormones, raising alertness, increasing metabolism. Your inner light reflects these changes. At night, as melatonin rises, your body prepares for restoration, and the light within softens. You are like a tide pool, rising and falling with the moonlight of your biology, and your thoughts shape this, too. When your mind is calm, when your nervous system rests in parasympathetic ease, your cells function more smoothly. They repair, they listen, they shine. Stress, however, triggers contraction, not just of muscle, but of cellular clarity. Energy production stutters. Light becomes disorganized. Over time, chronic stress can dull the glow, not extinguish it, but dim it. And when you return to stillness, to care, the glow returns. This dance between light and shadow is part of being alive. There is no shame in dimness. There is no failure in flickering. The flame inside you is not meant to blaze constantly. It is meant to rise and fall, to rest and rekindle, to follow the natural tides of your being. Even your brain carries this light. Neurons, as they fire, may emit photons. These tiny flashes may help guide communication between distant areas faster than chemical messengers alone. Some theorize that consciousness itself, sense of awareness, may arise from the coherence of light among brain cells. Though not yet fully understood, the possibility stirs something ancient in us, as if we've always known that light and thought were intertwined. Ancient mystics spoke of a light behind the eyes, a radiance within the mind. Science may now be brushing against those truths. And within your heart, where electricity dances with rhythm, where blood pulses in waves of love and longing, light may play its quiet part as well. Heart cells beat in coordinated fashion, guided by waves of ions, but perhaps also by flashes too subtle to measure easily, the coherence of the heart's rhythm, especially in states of compassion, calm, connection mirrors the coherence of cellular light. You are not made of static. You are made of patterns, patterns of breath, of motion, of memory, of glow. You are a song sung in light, and this light is not selfish. It extends. When you hold someone's hand, when you hug, when you sit quietly beside another, your bodies communicate only through heat and heartbeat, but possibly through light. The photons released by your skin may reach another's. Though too soft for vision, they are not too soft for the body. Cells are sensitive. They listen to even the faintest shimmer. And so kindness may carry light. Touch may carry healing. Presence may carry radiance. Plants have long been known to respond to light, bending toward it, growing with it. Perhaps we are the same. Perhaps our cells grow more whole in the presence of those who help us shine. And when we surround ourselves with beauty, with nature, with music, with silence, we restore our glow. We remember what it feels like to be lit from within. The light that lives in you is not a decoration. It is not performance. It is presence. It is the trace of life doing its sacred work quietly, faithfully within you. And when you slow down, when you rest without guilt, when you breathe without urgency, you nourish that light. You become the sun you once absorbed. You become the fire that warms others. You become a beacon to yourself. Now let us come to rest in the quiet center of all things, where the light inside you is not only flickering, it is listening. It listens to the rhythm of your breath, to the language of your cells, to the stillness between your thoughts. And in this silence, it continues its soft work, organizing, repairing, remembering. The light that lives in you is not a thing to chase or control. It is a companion, a silent witness to your entire life. In your happiest moments, it shimmers through your face. In sorrow, it dims, but never disappears. It travels with your emotions, wraps itself around your memories, and carries your body gently from one moment to the next. Even when you feel lost, even when you feel numb, this light does not leave you. It may grow quiet, it may wait, but it is always there beneath the noise, beneath the weight, beneath the surface. And when you remember to pause, to return to yourself, to breathe, to soften, it rises again, not in brightness, but in warmth, in clarity, in coherence. There is a kind of grace in this return. You do not have to earn the light. You are made of it. Your skin, your bones, your blood. And though the world may rush around you, your inner radiance is steady, not demanding, just present, like a candle in a window, waiting. And science, slowly, is learning to see what ancient wisdom always intuited, that light and life are not separate, that every act of healing, every moment of connection, every choice of kindness supports the light inside you, that your presence matters not only to the people around you, but to your own biology. When you speak gently, when you sleep deeply, when you listen with your whole being, your light responds. It does not judge, it does not shame, it simply aligns. This light is not about perfection, it is about participation. Your body is a field, a space of constant becoming, and in that field, the glow moves not like a spotlight, but like dawn spreading across a landscape, slowly, softly, completely. Even aging does not end this light. In fact, it reveals it more clearly as the body softens, as outer layers fall away, the glow becomes simpler, braver, more honest. Elders often carry a different kind of light, less about speed, more about depth, less about doing, more about being. And when you look into their eyes, you may feel it is steady fire, quiet, but unyielding. This is the light of endurance, of grace, of truth. And when your body reaches the end of its life, the light does not vanish. Some researchers suggest that in the final moments, there is a burst of biophatin release, a shimmer, a wave, as if the cells are offering a final sigh, a letting go, a return. And though science cannot say what happens next, the poetry of this possibility remains, that we come from light, that we return to it, that in some way we carry it home. And throughout your life, the light has always guided you. It pulled you toward healing, even when the path was unclear. It lit the space between pain and peace, showing you how to sit in the middle of both. It warmed you in moments of laughter, of connection, of deep rest. It gave you presence. It gave you clarity. It gave you yourself. And this light is not only within, it reflects outward, always. When you speak with care, when you create something beautiful, when you simply exist in your fullness, you become a lighthouse. Others may not name it, but they feel it, your glow, your calm, your being. And so the most powerful thing you can do may also be the simplest, to remain lit, not brightly, not loudly, but truthfully, gently, always. Let your light be felt in the way you listen, the way you breathe, the way you rest without apology. Let it live in the way you forgive yourself, the way you tend to what is fragile, the way you begin again each morning. Let it grow in slowness, in silence, in softness, because this is not about transformation. It is about recognition. You were always this radiant. You were always this alive. The light that lives in you does not require proof. It simply needs space. So open that space through breath, through kindness, through the quiet remembering that you are made of stars, of fire, of love. And when the world feels too heavy, come back to this truth. You are glowing. Even now, even here, even in stillness, the light, and it remembers who you are, beneath the surface of everything you are. Beneath the thoughts you think and the breath you take, there flows a memory older than bones. It is not written in ink or stored in pages, but held in liquid water. It is in you, around you, before you, and within it lives a kind of time-a-rhythm, a cycle, a silent remembering that spans not hours but eons. Every drop of water that moves through your body once moved through clouds, through rivers, through other living beings. It may have rained on a forest 1,000 years ago. It may have rested in the belly of a glacier or swirled in a tide pool lit by moonlight. And now it moves through you, quietly echoing all it has ever touched. Water carries memory, not like a journal, but like a melody hummed across generations. In every cell of your body, water does more than hydrate. It shapes, it listens, it guides. The very structure of your proteins, those twisting, folding threads of life, depends on water to hold their shape. Without it, nothing aligns. Without it, there is no form. And yet, water itself never clings to a single shape. It is fluid, it moves, it dances between forms, solid, liquid, vapor, without protest. It adapts, it waits, it begins again. This is time, not in seconds, but in softness, in return, in renewal. Inside your cells, water surrounds every molecule, every organelle. It helps enzymes find their partners. It helps nutrients travel. It cushions, flows, protects. Even your blood, that ruby river of life, is mostly water. Your brain thinking, dreaming, remembering is nearly 3/4 water. The synapses that fire thoughts into being are bathed in it. And beyond the brain, water helps move messages through the body. Hormones ride its currents, signals glide through its softness, and somehow, even without nerves or eyes, water seems to listen. Scientists have seen water respond to sound, to emotion, to vibration. In experiments, it forms different shapes depending on intention. Crystals change their form based on music. Some believe this is consciousness. Others say it is sensitivity. But all agree it is alive in ways we do not fully understand. This responsiveness suggests something ancient, that water may not only remember, but reflect, that it listens not just to what touches it, but to what surrounds it, that when you speak with kindness, water hears, that when you move with grace, water holds you more gently. The time that lives in water is not linear. It does not march. It flows. It loops. It rests and returns. It is the tide, the rainfall, the snowflake, the tear, and each of these carries emotion, joy, grief. Even your tears reflect your experience. Those shed in sorrow are chemically different from those shed in laughter. Water records your feeling, then offers it to the world. It is always moving outward, always connecting. It evaporates from your skin, joins the sky, falls again somewhere distant into someone else's open hand. You are part of this cycle. You are shaped by it. And just as rivers carve valleys, water carves your inner world. It smooths your memories, deepens your dreams. It moves through the soft spaces of your joints, helping you move, bend, reach. It cradles your lungs, moistening the breath that carries you forward. It touches every part of you, often without your noticing. But it notices. It is always keeping time, not with clocks, but with rhythm, with return. The water in your body is not the same as it was yesterday. It has been breathed out, sweated away, renewed. Some stays longer within bones, within the spaces between cells. Some leaves quickly, but all of it moves with purpose, and in its movement is balance. When you feel thirsty, your body is not punishing you, it is reminding you of the river. When you feel calm after drinking, that is the river returning. Water is not only life, is time made liquid, and it flows through you like a quiet clock, counting not seconds, but presence. Now let us fall even deeper into the quiet rhythm of water's time, where each droplet tells a story that is not hurried, not loud, but patient. Listen closely, because this rhythm, like breath, like tide, like memory, moves in you without needing permission. Water does not rush through the body. It follows a path, a choreography designed by nature, whispered by your cells. It is drawn in by thirst, but guided by purpose. It enters the mouth, greets enzymes in your saliva, slips down your throat, and is welcomed by the stomach like an old friend. There, it joins the symphony of digestion, mingling with food, with acid, with warmth. Some of it is absorbed quickly into blood, riding through the thin walls of the small intestine. Some lingers, soothing tissue, softening movement, preparing what is needed next. And once in the bloodstream, it becomes part of your every heartbeat. It cushions the brain, flows through the spine, filters through the kidneys, carries the messages of hormones, and listens to the electric pulses of thought. Water flows through your past and future at once. It cleanses, yes, but it also records. It listens for balance, too much salt, too little oxygen, a shift in pH, and when the message is clear, it carries it forward. 2 sweat glands, 2 lungs, 2 cells waiting for the signal to rest or rise. In the kidneys, where filtration occurs every moment of your life, water plays its most refined role. Blood enters these twin organs in a swirling, quiet storm where nephrons, like tiny sieves, separate waste from wisdom. They return what the body needs. They release what must be let go. And in doing so, they write the story of your inner waters. Each drop that leaves youth through breath, through tears, through urines, a page turned, a chapter closed, a soft letting go. You are never holding the same water for long, but the rhythm of its leaving is not loss, it is life. It is the cycle of return. And outside of you, this same rhythm continues. In oceans, the moon stirs water with invisible hands. Tides rise and fall, not in haste, but in cosmic patience. Lakes evaporate beneath summer's breath, then fall again as winter snow. The clouds move slowly, carrying the exhale of trees, of mountains, of animals, of you. Every breath you take contains molecules once inhaled by other living things, by wolves in northern forests, by children in warm kitchens, by ancestors long gone. This is the time in water. It connects everything, not in lines, but in loops. Even glaciers, those slow-moving rivers of ice, hold ancient memory. Trapped in their frozen bodies are bubbles of air from thousands of years, unchanged. Frozen conversations with the past. When they melt, they release stories we have never heard. And this too becomes part of the water cycle, past meeting present, old light becoming new rain. And all the while, inside your own body, this memory flows. In your spinal fluid, your lymph, your blood, your cells, in your tears, which rise not only from the eyes, but from the soul. You may not think of it when you drink, or when you sweat, or when your lips touch the surface of a still glass, but in that moment, you are touching time. You are participating in a rhythm that began long before you and will continue long after. You are not outside this rhythm. You are made of it. And so, when you feel overwhelmed, remember the water in you. It does not rush, it returns. When you feel dry or brittle or forgotten, drink gently. Breathe slowly. Let your cells remember the tide. Let the rhythm return to your throat, to your gut, to your limbs. Because water listens. It changes temperature, shape, speed, and direction, but never its essence. You, too, can change without losing yourself. You can rise as mist, fall as rain, freeze, thaw, flow. You can begin again, and just like water, you can soften the hardest stone with time. You do not need to be strong in the way the world defines it. You can be strong in the way of rivers, in your persistence, in your rhythm, in your return. The time that lives in water lives in you. It pulses in your heartbeat, laps at the edges of your thoughts, pools in your memories. And when you lie down to rest, when your breath becomes slow and round, the water inside you continues to flow, quietly, tenderly, keeping rhythm with stars and oceans and sleep. It does not need to be seen to to be believed. It only needs to be felt. So tonight, or this morning, or whenever you find yourself still, press your hand gently against your belly. Feel the warmth there, the quiet, the softness that is the water. That is the time. That is the part of you that remembers the world and all its seasons and continues flowing patiently toward dawn.